YouTube tarot reader, Lisa Lee, has been found using bad language during her twice-weekly live streams. In a shocking turn of events, it has also been discovered that she will not tell you what you want to hear, only what you need to know. The internet is in collective shock that authenticity is alive and well in this corner of the YouTube meta space. Do not watch if you are easily offended.
That went so well until it didn't. So yes, good evening everybody. Welcome to Beyond Authentic. My name is Lisa, and today we're going to be doing some tarot reading. Yes, we are. So we're going to do some tarot reading tonight. So hopefully if you are here and watching this, it means that you would like a tarot reading. The way it works on this channel is, if you want to guarantee that your reading is up next, you can go ahead and pop along to... No, hang on, that's wrong. I was about to go into old patter. God, look at this. So at least it's not me like tipping a drink over my entire board like I did last week and the week before. So I'm holding on to this very tightly. But if you want a reading, you want to be the first cab off the rank, with the tarot reading, then please do send it as a super chat. That comes through automatically. Once YouTube's taken its cut, I will donate 10% of whatever monies we make on this channel to Fight Bladder Cancer and 10% to Bladder Cancer UK, which are the two charities that that helped me out when I had bladder cancer and was dealing with all of that. So yes, so that is the way to get yourself a super chat. If, however, you want a reading and you want to wait until I open up a free round, you are more than welcome to. A free round will happen when we don't get any super chats in, and I will ask people to pop their question into the chat, starting with the word question. Okay, so that becomes the barrier to entry, I guess. That is what we need you to do if you want one of those readings. So then I'm just going to click on, is it this one that tells you that? Yes, it is. There you go. So all the details are just up there on screen. Now, I do have to say, we do have some housekeeping here, and it's very important that this is understood, okay? Because tarot is for entertainment purposes only. You do make all of your own decisions. I'm going to take that down to there. There we go. You make all of your own decisions about your own life. Tarot should never be used to replace medical advice, legal advice, financial advice, or counseling advice. If you're looking for support in those areas, I always recommend you go and seek support from professionals in those areas, okay? I am very good at doing the tarot, and I can say that after so many years, it's one of the few things I've got confidence in my ability to do. But I could have a go at your divorce settlement if you want. You'll probably end up paying more money. I could have a go at maybe sorting you out a budget for the rest of the year. Probably go overdrawn. I could probably have a go at mixing up some herbs for your illness. It will kill or cure. So again, you're probably best bet seeking out professional advice in those areas. Also, do please watch out for your own internet security. Okay, we do not want anybody doxing themselves, so please do be aware that basically anything you put on the interwebs is on the interwebs forever. Okay, so don't put personal information on. Don't tell us about, oh, you know, it's really nice. I got to finally move into the house of my dreams right next to, you know, the old bank building here in small town. You know, it's really cool. I get to have this wonderful view out the back window of XYZ. Don't put anything into the chat that people can find your location, or find out information about you, pretend to be you even, or something that's going to get you into trouble in 5 or 10 years' time if you've got a new boss, a new partner, whatever, right? Be aware of all of that. That's all I'm saying. You know what the governments are all like, and you know what Google and everybody else is like. Before long, you'll be able to get a government phone with a coded thing, and they'll be able to go, Google, tell me everything that Lisa's ever put online. And it'll go, and then they'll get the shock of their lives. But anyway, enough of that. So yes, we're going to be doing some reading. So if you would like a tarot reading, then again, all you need to do is send it through as a super chat, or send it through when I open a round, which will be very, 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 very quickly. Should we be quiet about any illegal substances we've taken? You can talk about whatever you want, Holland. Bear in mind that what you say is on the internet forever. And also, please bear in mind the fact that what is said in a live members only has a much smaller footprint because it's not listed and it doesn't go out to all of the usual suspects. So there, hopefully that makes sense. Besides which, all of the stuff I ever admit to is so long ago in the past that it's, as you said, it's out of the statute of limitations or whatever the hell that's called. So then, I don't think we've got one of those in the US, in the UK. Or do we? I don't know. But anyway, let me have a look in the live chat before we open the round. Good evening to Melinda Brown. I've just seen you there. Hello, my darling. Good evening to Shivani. Good evening to, obviously, we've got the mod squad in. So I'm going to say hello to show comments. Thank you. Patricia, Holland, Necroneil, and Ed. So we are fully stocked on mods today. Now, listen, if the mod asks you a question or says, shut up, or they don't say shut up, or if a mod recommends something like here when Neil's saying anything shared on the internet is forever, right? Or where Patricia is saying be paid to prevent waiting and guarantee a reading, blah blah blah, send it through as a super chat. When the mods ask you to do something or ask you not to do something, imagine that that's coming from me, especially when I'm reading, because I won't have the comment section up when I read. So yeah, the mods basically are me in terms of policing the channel. Beware of Big Brother. That is absolutely true. Your big brother watches over you. He's on the other side now, must get bored. I know, right? I sometimes think, right, because obviously both of my parents are over the other side. And I sometimes think they'd look at my life now and go, oh, she's like an old married housewife. But they would have looked at my life 10 or 15 years ago and gone, what the hell did we raise? Do you know what I mean? It'd be like, what on earth is going on? Because different lives at different times. But yeah, I get entirely what you mean. And as Holland says here, sorry for your loss. Yeah, exactly. I don't worry about what other people on the side can see. You know what I mean? It's a bit meh. Your brothers and parents are on the other side. This is it. There's so much, like we've all got people that once everything goes, we're going to go off and see again. So, you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Anywho, Arizona has legalized recreational what? Picnics. Oh, imagine living in a state where you can't have a picnic out in the countryside. That would be awful. Right then, shall we go ahead? We've got 8 on the live. Hugs from Ed and Charlie Cat. See, Ed, look at all of your pictures now. All of your pictures. For so long, it was all doggos, and now you're becoming a cat person. Absolutely love it. We love all pets. We love all pets here on this channel. In fact, I used to have my my doodads there, my ratties when I had ratties. Yeah, doodah is the thing that I do say far too much. That. Okay, thank you, Melinda. But you can't use due to your employment. I thought for a second that said deployment. I was like, huh? Oh yeah, completely. And it's doubles and triples all round. Right then, on that hopeful note, let's get cracking with the knacking. I don't know quite what is knacking, but let's get cracking with the knacking and let's get some readings happening. So I'm going to officially open a round. If you would like to have a reading, do please go ahead and pop your question to the live chat, starting with the word question, or please do go ahead and send it as a super chat. That's the things to do on this channel. And right now, I'm going to play you a 32-second, it's really long, that little information video in case you missed what I just said. Yes, indeed. Let's have a look in at their comments then. Oh, are you? You're going to drive down to Wales for a woofer? You're getting another doggo? That's amazing. That's so amazing. Yay. Right then. So I've got 2 questions in. It looks like, let me turn this banner off. There we go. So it looks like we have 2 questions today from Shivani and from Ritu. So I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to highlight both names, go into this other section. And do you know how we solve it on this channel? When there is a problem, we'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Ice, ice, baby. Good evening, sweet tooth girl. I'm all right. Thank you, my darling. Hold off until we do the next round, my darling. It will only be about 10 minutes or so. So just hold off until I do the next round, because I've just got these 2 in right now because that time did expire. So I tried to be fair. So then when we get 2 questions in, we do even have a very special jingly promo for that. Are you ready? This is what we do. Yes, indeed, it's talisman toss time. We toss the talisman. It is time to toss the talisman. Oh, one did fall out then, and it's gone on the floor, and it's gone under my desk. Oh, no, I can see it. I can see it. Right then. So this is the talisman today. It is the water talisman. So if you don't know what a talisman is, well, it's a thing. So I know, right? That was good witchcraft information. So we've got the 2 sides of this this talisman. It's not a coin, it is a talisman. Okay, so then we've got Shivani. You were the first question, so you go on our first whistle, which basically means you get the top side. So you get the sigil, the symbol for the element of water. And Ritu Aurora, you get the writing side, which says witch casket and water, just in case these droplets here and this wave pattern in the background, just in case it wasn't obvious which element this was. But anyway, right then, so we toss it like we toss a coin, always with the head up or the sigil up. And yeah, let's go ahead and toss that talisman. Oh, it's just here. And if I don't move it, you can see we've got the writing side. So then, Shivani, my darling, select and copy your question and have it ready for the next round. Ritu Aurora, will I get my new house is your question. So your question is on screen. So then, you're the first cab off the rank tonight, which basically means you're the first reading we are doing. I have 2 different decks, but tonight's main deck is going to be the vice versa deck. Now, whenever I use this deck, we go quite deep. Okay, so a deep dive warning, everybody. Deep dive warning. If you do not want your personal information spread to here, there, and everywhere on that there interwebs, then you need to just bear with and not put details into the live, if that makes sense. Don't put anything in the comments. So what we're going to do is, introduce the lovely Wispy in just a second. Before I do, even though it's the first reading, we're cleansing the space. Why do I do that? Because it makes sure that any negativity, any vibes, positive, negative, whatever, from the last readings or the last time I used the desk have gone. And we then bring in Wispy. But before I do, I'm just going to explain this deck and why I say we get some really intense readings. So you can see here the Page of Swords. That is the Page of Swords, right? Looks like a young person wielding a sword. The sword is glowing, floating in the sky, sorted. However, that is also the Page of Swords, and it's got a very different meaning. This side is quite hopeful, fluffy blue sky, fluffy clouds, like nice, gentle kind of rock formation that you're floating over, almost angelic. That way up, it looks more like a lightsaber. This sword is bringing the light to a dark place. So you can see very different meanings. Again, I'll show you one more card just to explain. With the moon card, that's quite a standard way of looking at the moon. And then we've got this version which is all celestial and goes very deep and has lots of hidden meanings, the pillars not being complete and all sorts. So that is the deck we use today. It can come up either side, and it can also come up reversed. So there's not just 76 cards here, sorry, 78 cards here. It's not just that they are, hang on, computer, what is 2 times 78?
2 times 78 is 156.
Thank you. It's not just 156 pretty pictures at all. It's actually computer. No, it's 312. So there are 312 different meanings. Okay, thank you. So there are 312 different meanings in this deck, which is why I love it. And again, those meanings change depending on where it falls in a spread. Now, when we get a freebie reading, you get a 3-card spread. And the most important thing that we can do at this point is to bring in Wispy. So Wispy is the air elemental that I work with. He takes the form of an air dragon. And if you don't know what that is, imagine this lovely dragon here on my cloth, made out of steam, ether, wisps of smoke, wisps of dust, that sort of, that what do they call it? Golden hour lighting. Imagine all of that in the form of a 3-dimensional sort of figurative dragon that is able to connect from this desk to the Akashic records via the tarot. So that's where we get the information. So then, Ritu Aurora, let's have a look. I've done all my explanations. When will I get my new house? That's what we want to know, Wispy. When will Ritu Aurora get the new house? Let's have a look. So what we'll do is we'll do the classic 3-card. Where you are right now, not physically, but where you are with everything going on, what you need to know about that, and what the opportunity is. Okay. So as you can see, the only problem with this deck is that the cards are both double-sided, and that means as you're shuffling, you do get some clues as to where the cards may be. Now, I'm actually looking at my second screen right now, so that I'm not really looking and watching what the cards are doing. But of course, you've got no way to know that, you know, unfortunately. Right, so there we go. We've done the cut, and your 3 cards are... where you are. Ooh, 2 of Wands reversed and on the darker side. We've got the Chariot in the what you need to know. Okay. And the High Priestess. Now, all 3 cards are reversed, which means there's going to be a time delay, my darling. There is going to be a time delay. But we've got some quite major cards coming up. So then, in the 2 of Wands, you can see the standard 2 of Wands. This person's got the globe, or in this case, the sun, in their hands. It's all lovely, lovely. Got the world at your fingertips, come together, everything's grand. This way round, though, it's looking a lot more, again, a bit colder. You can see the sun setting. You can see this person is holding, thank you, Holland, thank you, Melinda. You can see this person is holding a golden globe, but they don't look warm, and they're looking out at this valley. This is everything that they control as the 2 of Wands. This is like the lord of this bit of land. You can see the wand here has got these flowers on, but this is different to this. It's got a very different feeling. This again, it's the sun is setting. You've got this kind of dark element in the background, this roaring fire here, but this looks quite defensive. So when we get to this meaning, this character, this lord of the castle, the king of the castle even, but this lord is looking over this landscape, and it doesn't feel like it's a happy landscape, right? The 2 of Wands is about confidence and the people around you that bring you security, or security in general. Now, I normally say that doesn't mean bricks and mortar, but in this case, I think it does. And I think there is I don't know whether this is a new house with either a friend or a partner or something like that you're going in with, but it really does feel that there is kind of this really strong, like it's on 2 of you to make the choices about this place. It does feel like, because of this reversal, it does feel you've got still some time to wait. Okay, so I don't think it's going to be happening immediately. What you need to know, we've got the Chariot reversed on the darker side. Now, this for me is talking about there being like, so the Chariot is always about a journey. Okay, so you can see here in a cartoon version, you can see here on this side of the card, it's about this journey. So again, it's quite a classic image, just with a twist. This way round, though, they're literally riding along this riding along this pathway, which is actually like a galaxy. So the chariot is talking about a journey. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a physical journey like you moving house, especially when it's in the what you need to know. I think this is talking about you are going to have a bit of a battle, a bit of a journey with this house buying. So either something is delayed financially, or whether you're renting, whatever it is, there's going to be a delay that is going to put everything back slightly. But this journey that you're going on here with the house, with this property, whether it's something in the build or whether it's something in, you know, the legality of it, you're going to need to be very, very patient. It will come, right? It will come. But this element of, especially when it's this way up, look, it looks like you're paving the road that people haven't gone through before. And this road element with this galaxy is really talking about a journey, a major journey within, as it a major journey within as it affects the house. So I think that these delays, I don't think it's going to happen very soon, but these delays are kind of almost testing you as to how much you want the house, and also kind of putting this element of, is it really for you at this time? You're just going to have to bear this in mind, because the journey will happen. It's just going to take this really weird course, if you like. It's like being pulled out of orbit or somehow. And then we've got the High Priestess again, talking about things to learn. We've got the High Priestess coming up in the future opportunity position, and this again is reversed. So again, it's saying that this will come in time, but in this case, you've got the front on, full on High Priestess energy. And this, as you can see here with this Torah, is about learning and following the rules. So that's when I say there's going to be something here, either with the financial or with the legal stuff, that isn't quite there yet, that you're going to have to wait for that to come through, because the High Priestess is saying, do it by the book, follow the rules, do it the right way, make sure everything is in place, make sure every T is crossed and I is dotted, make sure everything is sorted out, and you'll be fine. The High Priestess is a wise character, if you like, in the tarot deck, and she can be quite cold and aloof, but again, in this case, it's because she wants to make sure all of the paperwork is ticked, everything is checked. You know, the gas pipe work isn't going to kill you in the middle of the night, the water isn't going to, you know, burst and flood everything. She's wanting to make sure everything is as good as it can be. So it does feel like it's going to happen, especially with that chariot card in the center. You've just got to wait a little bit longer. Now, I always say I only see 6 weeks or so, 6 weeks to 2 months into the future. So I don't think it's going to happen. It could be 2 months on. Okay. It could be at the very end of that 6 months, or 6 weeks, sorry, or it could be 2 weeks on, because it does feel like it's not there yet. Whatever this paperwork or legality is, get that sorted, get those items ticked off the list, get those rules followed, and you'll be fine. And I hope that helps. So yes, thank you, Richie Aurora, for your question. Once again, I hope that helps. Let us know in the comments section. I'm going to click over there now, because I don't look at the comments when I am reading, if that makes sense. So yes, okay, let me have a look. So yes, Melinda, I've got your question in. Thank you very much. Yeah, right, okay, no problem. No problem at all. Thank you very much. And let's have a look at Melinda's question. There we go, my darling. Question: may I please have a general reading? You absolutely can. Thank you to Patricia and Holland. Just double checking. I always say that you do. I'm going to put my hair up, actually, because this is really annoying me tonight. I don't know why. And very rarely will I sit here on a live stream with my hair up, but I feel like I need to today. So there we go. We're sort of like half up, down at the back. There we go. That's what we're doing. It's fine. Also, I've got the fan on because it's a little bit warm here today. I don't know where you are in the world, but we've actually had quite a mild day today. It would have been a good day for a car boot sale, but unfortunately, that couldn't happen today. But we'll be looking forward to that next week. And thank you to Patricia and Holland, as I was saying, just to make sure that the questions that you ask the questions that I would normally do. Yeah, because again, you do normally have to have a reading, give the readings time and space to percolate, if that makes sense. But it's all good. It's a different question. It's not about the thing last week, so that is a positive. So then let's make sure we do this. Let me try and see. I'm going to try and see if I can. Should I just put this on? There we go. Look, now that's not straight. That's going to annoy me. There we go. Let's try that light. Right then, I'm coming out of the comments section. There we go. Onto my starred section. There we go. So then, everybody, Melinda has sent a super chat, which basically means that her reading is the next one, is this one I'm actually doing right now. If you would like a tarot reading on the channel, you can also get yours next by doing the same thing that Melinda did. You can send your question in the form of a super chat that automatically comes through to me. If you don't know how to do that, just where you click the comments, just down on the screen, if you click the little, I think it's $1 bill, I'm not sure, it might be different in each country, but there's a note symbol. If you click on that, you can then choose the amount that you want to send and pop your question in there, if that is what you are after. Right then, so Melinda, I've shuffled the cards in between because, again, obviously with us being seen, we want to get the Wispy's perspective, not with any chance that I can twist it in any way. So then, Wispy, Melinda would like a general reading, please. So can Melinda get a lovely general reading? Oh, no, I don't know what to do about that. This card has literally just landed there. So I guess it was propped up by the talisman bag and the speaker. So I guess I'm going to try and hold that as flat as I can and let it fall whichever way it will. Oh, okay. So what was it? It's the King of Cups. Oh, Melinda, this is your there it is. I've got my thingy. This is your clarifying or modifying reading, your modifying card. So the King of Cups. What does the King of Cups stand for? Love, lots of love, lovely love with love, but also an element of control and authority. Now, those two things can go together quite nicely if you've got a safe word in place. But what I would recommend is to just see what this reading is first, because so the King, I'm smiling, you can probably hear it in my voice. The King of Cups is an authority person, and he is somebody who is quite assured of his emotions, right? Quite happy sitting on that throne. You can see here he's got a little sort of half smile on, a very Mona Lisa smile. He's got a weird staff. I've always wondered why his staff looks like a broken plunger. And obviously we've got the cup, which is what he is named after, the King of Cups. So this is all about positive emotion. This is all about love, energy coming in, all of these things. So we'll look at how this manifests as we do the reading. So then, Wispy, a general reading from Melinda. We're going to do 4 shuffles, right? 1 round of 4. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't need the cards dropping, thank you. And 4. Right then. So we then cut the deck, and I try and do that without looking. So I can't see. Oh, it's a double drop. That was a double drop. And then let's have a look. So we'll do a general reading. I'll tell you what, we'll do a classic. We'll do the horseshoe. Wispy, the horseshoe. Past, present. Right, let's go. Might need a little bit more space. So we go that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. So let's have a look. In the past position, the 3 of Cups. Oh, okay. So we've got the 3 of Cups reversed and on the lighter side. So this is like the 3 muses, the 3 graces. It can even be in some decks interpreted as the 3 witches from classic mythology and also Shakespeare and also lots of things like Pratchett and things. But this is very much about the next steps. So this is talking about having a partnership maybe and moving it on to the next step. Now, again, because I know what the reading was about last week, I don't know whether this partnership is in the form of connection you have with the person from last week. I don't think it is. I think this might be around if you've got other kids or other family around you. I think it's more about that, because this card was also reversed. So it's talking about, and again, look, I'll show you the flip side of it. You've got the one person. It's talking about that feeling having gone now, right? That supportive, nurturing, loving kind of, family connection that we got with the three sisters, the muses, blah, blah, blah. It feels like that's past. And it feels like it feels like a memory, if that makes sense to you, is what I'm talking about. That time when, you had that support and that everything was going good and the birds were in the sky. I think the last time that happened was a while ago, again, because of that reversal, if that makes sense. I mean, this is going to be fairly self-explanatory, I think. What's going on at the moment? What is your biggest kind of thing right now? The Knight of Cups. So Knights are rebellious teenage energy. Cups is playing with your emotions, and this is the darker side of the Knight. You can see this way, it looks like he's just coming into town. Hello, everybody. I am a knight. I am going to, give to you the word of I don't know, Goblet Makers and Sons, Robertson Goblets and Sons, because I'm bringing you this lovely goblet. Would you like to buy a goblet? Look at the lovely goblet, right? So it looks nice and relaxed. This way round, it looks like the knight is waiting for the moment to invade. It looks like the knight is sat up there with an army behind them, just waiting to give that signal. That is what this looks like. And I think this is really talking about the person from last week, because it really does feel like with this teenage energy, this rebellious energy, and with the characters back to you, I think that's what this is suggesting, unfortunately. Now, and again, two more cup cards come straight in at the beginning of the reading, which again is interesting. You've got the Page of Wands in the influence position. Again, Page once more is youthful energy. This tends to be younger than the Knight. So again, I wonder if this is another family member that is advising or helping you at the moment. It is Wands, which is about security, but it does feel that at the moment, whatever this influence is, it's felt by you as a negative influence, because it is reversed and because it does feel a little bit difficult. This is obviously the flip side of the card. We don't have to worry about that. But the Page of Wands here is standing in the midday sun. We've got pyramids in the background, but they are standing here. They are standing their guard. They are standing their ground, even though they're probably roasting. But as you can see, this staff is in a very you shall not pass position. And it really does just feel like this is a massive influence. And again, I do think this is a different person to this one. It does feel though that there is this massive influence on you where you are listening to this person's advice. In the obstacle position, we've got the 10 of Pentacles. Now, this is really sad in a way, because I mean, that way up, it's a different card entirely, but this way up, it feels like, and again, I remember last week's reading, but this I think is down to hemorrhaging money at the moment, hemorrhaging money, because I always say, you've heard it here a million times, when I say the 9 of something is when it is full, the 10 is when it's overflowing, and this is the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of money. Can also be connected to work, but I think this is more about a massive financial drain, because it feels like this old bloke, this old guy, this older person is here with this dog, and there's a loving connection, and the dog is man's best friend, and isn't that all lovely, wonderful? When it's flipped like this, you wonder whose dog that is, and that dog is behaving itself. But again, what if the dog has come from the Knight and it's just waiting to give that word, kill or sick balls or whatever the hell it is? You know what I mean? So this feels like your obstacle. Not only is it a lack of money, but it's a lack of a hemorrhaging of money, but it's also this idea that almost you're waiting for that shoe to drop somehow. Does that make sense? With this, like, you just need the command for the doggo. In the awareness of others, we've got the page of cups. Again, these are all young person cards, right? All young person cards, absolutely screaming that this is to do with your kids, basically. Now, this could be the same one as last week. I do get that vibe from the knight here, but this is the page of cups. This is talking about things that they regret and things that they wish they hadn't said and wish they could unsay and all of that. And again, although we're on the darker side of it, because you've got this page this way, this side looks a bit insipid. It looks a bit like this page is perhaps, you know, not fully on board with standing in the ocean. You know, they're just there. It's like, can I go now? Like, I really want to go now. Cheers, thanks, bye. This way round, you don't get that hint. And again, you've got that slightly more menacing look, because the fish jumping now just looks like the page is almost kind of thrown up in the air. And you can see this turtle coming in at the bottom with, again, what are these intentions? What else is coming in? Especially if this is a snapping turtle. They're not the friendliest thing in the world. And this is how people see this situation. I think they see it full of regret, full of sadness. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if this was the person from last week. I'm trying to be really careful what I say. The advice, again, my darling, it's linked in with this obstacle. I don't know whether you've been asked for money or whether there is still this ongoing, you know, element of, but I just need this. I promise I can do X, Y, Z if I just do this. Because the advice is, you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it, Melinda. You're going to hate it. The advice is, hang on, I need to do this face to face because, well, you know what I mean. So the advice becomes almost let them go to the poorhouse, right? Let them get to that point, because it's the Five of Pentacles, again, talking about money, but it's talking about that desperate need. But it's also talking about the way that the fives come up is it's always unfinished business. There's always like something else going on. There's always a story that's evolving and happening kind of in the background of the main story. And this is kind of that, because you can see, look, on the other side, we've got the knight in the lovely shiny church with everything being all lovely, head in their hands. And on this side, we've got a pauper with a cane, absolutely begging for money in the cold outside of the church. And it's kind of saying, because this is your advice, it really is saying, look, don't give money, don't support in this occasion. It really is giving you this idea of kind of they need to be here to be able to ask for help, because the card is also about offering that help and offering support. But not yet. It's not time for you to do that yet. If it was, it would be the 6. And then the outcome, I'm going to swap back to the camera. I know it literally, that card is literally saying, like, say no. If they come to you begging for food, give them some food. But if they come to you begging for money for food, you have to say no. In the outcome position, we've got, I'm trying to, this mic stand does get in the way. In the outcome position, we've got the Queen of Pentacles, again, reversed. And again, all of this is coming from this position of absolute love, right? It's like it will pain your heart to do these things, but absolute love. The Queen of Pentacles is the nearest card for me to the Empress. It's like if you mix the Queen of Pentacles with the Queen of Cups and you kind of merge them together, you'd sort of get near to the Empress. But this card is talking about having compassion with finances and with work and all of those things, but also because she came up reversed, not being the bank, not being the loan company, because she's really determined. Nurture, yes. Finances, no, is what this card is basically saying. So again, I think this is really important, and it feels like this is happening in real time, sort of nowish. It feels like, you know, this if you haven't already had the conversation or the call or the text or whatever, it feels like it's on the way, where you're going to get this massive request again, and you're going to feel like an absolute bitch by turning around and saying no. But it really feels like you have to do that. You have to let this rock bottom happen for things to move forward, because this is the card where you realize that you need help, and the 6 is where that help starts to come in terms of, you know, donations and community support and things like that. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, my darling. I really hope it does. It feels like, in all honesty, it feels like you just need to kind of continue with what you're doing. Oh, that's come a little bit low. Kind of continue with what you're doing in terms of the relationship, and just keep an eye and just, as I say, do what you're doing, but just make sure that there is no way that anybody can get money off you that you maybe don't have. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, my darling. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't think it's going to be a long period, this. It does feel like better times are coming for some reason, but at the moment we're not there yet, if that makes sense. But yeah, I hope that helps, my love. I really do. Let me have a look. Oh gosh, there's loads of comments. It's an S symbol. What's an S symbol? What is? Hang on. The S symbol. Oh, dollar symbol. Thank you. There, simply put your washing machine. Yay! That's good. That's good. That's good. You put your smalls in the area. We haven't got an area. Hey up, Ellis. I hope you are well. Melinda, you have emotional support from your other children. That's good. Vehicle repair expenses. Is it? God. Okay. Where you live, a vehicle is a must. You're 15 miles away from major places and there's no public transportation. That's a bit crap. That's a bit rubbish. Maybe not much sunshine and light, but yeah, you have got this. I absolutely recommend you've got this. Absolutely, totally believe you've got this, my darling. I really, really do. An oracle card for inspiration. Yes, let me give you an oracle card for inspiration. Let me find the. We'll go with. I'm going to go with crows. Although this is going to get deep. If we're using crows and vice versa, this is going to get deep. Patricia, your interpretation of the 5 of coins is that the person is ignoring the light and doesn't have to stay where he is. That is, I mean, again, that is another interpretation. With this card, though, with it being so double-sided, the double side of it was the knight with his head in his hands. So even on the flip side, even on like the good side of it, it really does feel that, like, it feels like the 5 that came up with the person outside the church, it feels like that's kind of the symbol that you need to get to, if that makes sense. That's the symbol that they need to get to. But yeah, hopefully that helps. I'm going to open up another round very, very soon. I tell you what, we're going to do that right now. Let's go. A horse and trap. That would also be a thing. You can't afford to keep a horse. No, well, exactly. They are, and also horses are very expensive, apparently. I don't know. I just know that they are a status symbol thing. Right then, let's have a look. So an oracle card for Melinda, my sister from another mister. Let's have a look. We're going to drop. We've got a drop. That's solid. So then, Wispy, what advice can we offer Melinda? Let's have a look. Direction. Ooh. Okay. You need to find a direction on your own. Find a direction that is other than the flock, because you really need to work out where you are headed personally away from this situation. Because it feels like this is absolutely gumming up the workings, if you like. It's like whatever is happening with these cards, you're trapped in that situation. You're trapped to be forced to kind of go along. And this is talking about actually, hang on, there we go. Actually, it feels like you need to find your own direction. You need to find your own way, not only through the problems, but also in general. It's like, yes, that person, you know, that person could need all of your time and could take all of your time and money, but that isn't good for you because that's not giving you a direction and a purpose. This is really saying you need to find your own direction, whether that means leaving the flock. In this case, you know, that might not be as easy, but going off on your own is what you need to do to find your own direction, right? Let me just explain what I mean by that. I mean, go and do something that is purely for you. Go and do something that is, if you enjoy painting, go and buy a cheap bloody paint set from Dollar General or whatever the hell it is, wherever you are in the world. Go and buy something super mega cheap that will help you, and some paper, and just go and do some watercolor. It won't be the right paper or the right paint, but who cares? If that's what you enjoy, go and do it. If you enjoy cooking, go ahead and doing that. You know, go ahead and do that. Whatever it is that you enjoy, find that direction. That is what I would love. And with that, my darling, I'm going to say thank you very much for your question. And I hope that really helps. And I hope that card gives you a little bit of direction. Right then, everybody. So let me pop that back in. Thank you, Melinda, for your question and for your donation. So I'm going to take a swig of my kombucha. Where is the button? There we go. How long have I been doing this? 2 years. Why is that down? Hopefully you can't see that. I've got the little thing hidden. But look, I'll show you what I can see on my screen, right? This is why I keep playing with the other camera, because look at that. When I look down on either one of my screens, that's what I see, that great big black shadow coming across, whereas actually you can't. Oh, you can look just there. Think. Right, so let's have a look in the comments. Oh, thank you, Aqua BB47. Thank you very much. What about you is Libra drawn to or interested in? I will have a look at that in a moment. Dr. Love, thank you very much as well for your super chats. I will do them in the order they came in. So Aqua BB47 will go first, and then Dr. Love, then I will do yours. No problem at all. I think I prefer thank you to that. I think thank you is a bit more that's the way my brain works, where it just goes thank you. So yeah, that's funny. That is exactly up my street. I'm telling you, that's what I would say. Right then, let's have a look. So we are going to go to Aqua BB47, and that is going to be the next reading. Don't forget, everybody, if you would like a reading on this channel, there are two ways to get it. As I say, super chat or wait until I open up a free round. Yes, thank you, Patricia. I think you might be a couple of seconds behind. But yeah, I'm going to continue the readings after this. Okay, give me 1 second, or give me 44 seconds, and I will be with you to do your reading.
Are you a fan of 80s horror but want something different? Do you like modern horror but the regular magazines leave you a bit cold? Are you a fan of that schlocky horror that no one else seems to talk about? Check out Necronomicon, the UK horror zine from Etsy.com. Just search for Necro Neil.
Blue Chalice is a small business making crafty creations for the witchy community. From jewellery to wall hangings, witch bells to altar tiles. Why not have a look at bluechalice.etsy.com. So I just took a quick slurp of a drink. I've got some fruit squash with me. Yeah, if you don't know, I will always try and either play something or move the mic because I have misophonia or misophonia. I cannot stand the sound of people drinking or eating near me. Anyway, that's just an ADHD personal thing. But I can totally recommend both those Etsy shops, you know. The Necronomicon, in fact, do I still have the... Oh, I might have moved it into the other room because I was going to read some more of it. I think I moved it into the other room. So Necronomicon, the horror zine, is full of horror. So if you like older horror films, that's grand. This current issue, issue 52, is full of really recent films and a couple of older ones, but a lot more of the more recent horror films, which my amazing friend and brother from another mother, the wonderful Necro Neil, produces. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend that. And their details are down in the description box, as is the description and the link to Holland, who does Blue Chalice, on Etsy. Blue Chalice make wonderful witchy stuff, and it's all done by somebody who is themselves quite witchy and very into druidry and making connections that are spiritual and all of that. So if you want to check those out, I totally recommend both those channels. So this is not a sponsored shout out or anything like that. It's literally just because I love both of those people and the shops that they are a part of. Right then, so all of that being said, let's go with... We're going to go with AquaBB47. Why is your question not coming up? I've clicked on it twice. Come on. Show. There we go. Finally. Oh, I hate it. I hate it when that happens and I press a button and it doesn't work automatically because it makes me immediately nervous about the stream and about the internet quality. But we seem to be good so far. Right, let me swap cameras. And as always, we are going to cleanse the space. And I'm going to bring in Wispy. And we're going to say to Wispy, good evening again, Wispy. AquaBB47 would like to know what about them is the Libran drawn to or interested in. What is it about AquaBB47 that the Libran is interested in or drawn to? Okay, so that's what we want to know. So we're going to do the... Shall we do the Wispy? We're going to do the 6-card double layer, okay, with the 3 at the top and the 3 at the bottom echoing the subconscious, right? And we'll do the where you are, what you need to know, and what the opportunity is. Right, okay, so we're going to do a proper cut of the deck that we can't see, and we're going to, here we go, where you are, 8 of Wands, what you need to know. Oh, Knight of Cups in that context is interesting, with the 9 of Cups coming in on your opportunity. We've then got the Emperor coming in, right? Strength with the darker element coming in, and the Page of Pentacles. Interesting. I turn into Yoda, don't I? Interesting cards is. That was so bad. Right, so where you are, we've got the 8 of Wands. This is very much about hitting that restart button, right? You're asking what the Libran is drawn to. I think they are drawn to your, like, darker side, if that makes sense. They are drawn to the deeper side of you, the part of you that isn't scared, the part of you that is inherently a bit adventurous, because you can see here we've got the lightning hitting the sticks. This way round, they're just the 8 Wands. Here we can see the lightning kind of going behind the sticks in the sky. We've got a Pegasus there. So the Pegasus is coming out and, you know, exploring. So this is a spiritual connection. It's also a very powerful link. So this is saying that I think you are somebody, when I'm talking about a reset, I think you are somebody who is kind of listens to their gut about those decisions, goes very much on instinct, but also is not afraid to embrace that future or a future, right? You're not afraid to take life by the bollocks, if that makes sense. Take the bull by the horn. We've got in the subconscious, we've got the Emperor, which is a major arcana card. So it's one of the important cards. And the Emperor traditionally looks a bit like this. you can see he's got a globe in one hand and a wand in the other. This time round, you can see we've still got that imagery here, but that's the lighter side. But this is an emperor who is sitting in an archway to a cave or a kingdom. This is either a window or a doorway, but this is literally almost liminal. It's a liminal space. It's a portal between the two areas. So this emperor is talking about there being a very powerful and a very strong leader element. Now, this could be that you have this with this strength, that I think it would make sense, or it could be that the Libran has this, right? But this is where we are. So there's a very strong character here who is not afraid to say, do this, do that, do the other, to make decisions, but also not afraid to change their life and to go with it. I think this was reversed. So again, this would point maybe that this is reflecting the Libran's own character. In the what you need to know, we got the Knight of Cups. So this is talking a little bit more maybe about the Libran. It feels like the Libran is, if this, hang on, put it this way. If this is, because of the way you've asked the question, what about you is Libra drawn to? I think this is, hang on, I got a flash then. What was that flash? Right, okay. It feels like the Libran is drawn to this element in you. Again, it feels that it reflects elements of the Libran. So I don't know whether the Libran kind of likes you because you're similar people, if that makes sense, or whether it's like the polar opposite. It feels like there's a similarity here because the Knight of Cups, again, especially with this way around, the Knight of Cups is kind of a little bit maybe combative, a little bit jumping in where angels fear to tread, because that is what the Librans do. That is what the knights do. And it feels like this knight is not afraid to say what they say, love who they love, you know, and do all of that. This Libran is not backwards and coming forward. They are not shy in that aspect, because on the subsurface underneath, we've got the strength card. And again, this is a very, very, I'll show you the standard depiction. Right, there we go, maiden with lion, and we've got that here. We've got that, right? Maiden with lion, opening the mouth, pulling out the bad foot, the bad tooth, and sometimes it's a thorn in the paw, but that's what the maiden's doing, right? But you didn't get this side. You got this side, which is the maiden and the lion up against the dark side, up against some form of demonic character. Now, this doesn't mean that demons are evil or negative. This could be anything from a fallen angel to temptation being depicted, but you can see the maiden and the lion are standing their ground, right? Or sitting their ground. They haven't moved position. Like, this is still, it's like the sun's gone down. They're sitting there chilling. They're just kind of having friendship together. And then all of a sudden up comes this character, and these two haven't shifted position. Now, what that is saying, again, with this knight card, is it's saying that you have that inner strength to love and love openly, regardless of what else is happening, right? So regardless, it feels like you're able to love despite what others' opinions may be. And again, I think that is what is drawing Libra in, because you've got that similar vibe. It really does feel like it's whoever this is, it feels like it's a good match. In the opportunity card, we've got the 9 of Cups reversed. You've heard me say it, regulars here will have heard me say it a lot, that the 9 of Cups is all about being full of emotion, right? In this case, we've got this lord who is looking over the balcony. He's protecting his golden treasure room, right? And these 9 cups that he's wanting to protect. So as real would, he's put them on his balcony outside of his gold safety security room. He's just left them outside. But if you were to see what the what the Lord sees, and I mean Lord as in capital L, no, yeah, capital L, Lord of the castle, not like any other type of Lord. But he sees like this beautiful person carrying the conch shell, so it is the angel of plenty bringing this. So it feels like it should actually be a monetary card. It isn't. It's about the lord, the laird of the castle, being so confident in his love that he's opening up the chamber of gold to the partner, right? So this is what this is talking about. It's in this position, so it really does feel that the Libran is really, really drawn to you and is opening up their life, opening up, taking some risks here, because there is that strong connection, if that makes sense. And that leads us to the subconscious here is the Page of Pentacles, a youthful attitude around money. So if there's any financial financial misbalance, Aquabibi, that would be the only warning here, right? Because it could be that you've got a fairly high wage and the Page of Pentacles is interested with the perks that come along from you being so in love that you open up that golden room. Okay, so just be a little bit careful about that. I don't think it's all about the money, but this is in the future potential, and it really does feel like there's a little bit of an ulterior motive there. Now, again, I'm not saying to anybody or in any situation that actually having a more comfortable life when you get with someone, become entangled with someone, if within that is that you want some stability that you didn't have in your childhood or whatever else, it's fine to be, to find somebody with money that you love who just happens to have money, but means you can live in a more secure space, if that makes sense. Even if you have a prenup and you say, I don't want your money if anything happens, at least it means you're in a house that is probably going to be paid for, or like an ongoing mortgage, or it's bills are going to get paid, if you get my drift, right? Rather than it being somebody who is totally skint and you leaving a situation and then like going from having nothing to still having nothing. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is not always does this point out a gold digger. Sometimes it could just be that the Libran is interested in a more secure life, and that's what you're offering. Anyway, I hope that helps, Aquabibi. Again, it's so interesting when I'm reading for new people, because again, I know nothing about where your life is and what's happening, but it really does feel like you are quite up for challenges and resetting your clock and moving on and finding all this new adventure out. And it does kind of feel that there is a quite a close match with the Libran, with that one warning here of this page. Just make sure their intentions are good before going ahead with any serious connection, if that makes sense. And with that, my darling, I'm going to say thank you very much. And yes, that is your reading for today. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. What's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me? But yes, thank you very much for that. Right then, let me have a look. I'm just looking in the chat. You do listen to your gut. That's good. That's obviously why you're asking the question. I wonder whether you've got a hint of this Page of Pentacles character, and you thought maybe, because again, look, that's a slightly more romantic one with that conch shell, and this one maybe not as romantic feeling, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm wondering whether you've picked up on that as well. Let me have a look. You're from the Midwest, so Ellis suggesting that you go and ask them. Yeah, that's a bit much for me. It's a bit much for me, Ellis. It really is. It really is. Don't forget, I'm the one that went on the date that I didn't know was a date. So, all of the above. We do not mess about up north. No, I know it was, I've always been blunt, but with a southern accent. So, let me have a look. Yes, make sure his intentions are pure. And yeah, no problem at all, my darling. I hope that helps. It does feel like a close match in personalities and hobbies and things like that. So Is that a twin flame, a soul mate? Who knows? Who knows? But again, we are waiting for our first Beyond Authentic wedding. So if you do end up with the Libran and you do decide to get married, then do please let us know. We are willing to, if we can't get there physically, we are desperate for an excuse to wear our posh wedding hats. So we'll be there on Zoom, if that's allowed. Anyway, thank you very much for your question. I am moving on to Dr. Love. Will you meet your future spouse before 30, Dr. Love? It depends how old you are. Put it that way. If you're 29 and 360 days, you ain't got much time. You know what I mean? It's like, get cracking with the knacking. It really does mean you've got to do the doodah fairly quick. You know what I mean? You really do have to do that fairly blooming quick. But let's have a look. I'm going to read for you after. That was a really annoying noise. I do apologize. I'm going to read to you after this. Give me 1 second.
We have a super strong connection here. Right. Oh my God!
Then let's have a look. So, Dr. Love, will you meet your future spouse before 30? Let's have a look in that there. In what the cards have to say is what I was trying to say. Here we go. Oh, okay, that's really good. I'm glad I didn't jump straight across then, because I've just seen your comments pop up. You're 27. Fabulous. Right, so you got 3 years. Probably. If you're looking for them, then probably. Hang on, let me take that off. Right, so I can't see any comments. So, Wispy. Thank you. Wispy. We cleanse the space and we bring in the gorgeous Wispy, the air dragon, the air elemental, our wonderful. That was me dropping that. Would I say Wispy was a familiar? I guess so. Wispy is actually an egregore servitor tulpa type creation. If you want to know more about what Wispy is, have a look down in the description box, by the way, because just where the page has a little link across it, a little page break, right before you get to that page break, there is actually a link to the podcast that me and Neil did, all about what my dragons are and what Wispy is. So do please have a look there if you are wanting to know more about my dragons and what Wispy is specifically. Right then, so Dr. Love, let's bring your question up again. Will I meet my future spouse before 30? So then, Wispy, Dr. Love, I just love that name. Dr. Love has 3 years to meet their mate. Is that going to happen, Wispy? Ooh, that wasn't me. That was the Page of Cups. Again, with the dark side. It's the dark side of the Force. It's not. It's not the dark side of the Force, but it does give us, it does give us a really interesting look at the dynamic elements of the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups itself, youthful figure, kind of goes where is still learning, is still it's still very naive in the ways of love, basically. So yeah, very naive in the ways of love. Okay, Neil. Very naive in the ways of love, and very much eager to grow, put it that way, eager to grow, right? And I think this is representing you, obviously. But you can see here, this isn't a naivete. So what I'm trying to say is, I got distracted by that comment then. What I'm trying to say is, this way round, this looks like a really naive Page of Cups, right? A really naive, young, innocent type personage. This way round, you're asking about a spouse. That doesn't mean you've never had a partner before, a boyfriend or girlfriend or them friend, right? So the fact that you've probably had some form of relationship with people in the past. That's why I'm saying this isn't the standard page, because the standard page is like the 40-year-old virgin, right? Always got that youthful energy, always going to be virginal. This page of cups, not so much. Might have been around a little bit. They are a little bit more aware. And again, this way up as a clarifying card is a very different feeling to the card that would come up in a different spread or a different position. So we're going to look at, from the viewpoint of the page of cups, we're going to look at what is coming up. And I feel here that we need to do an inverted V. So we're going to have a look at the situation, what your obstacle is to finding the spouse, and how to overcome it, right? So that's what we're going to look at. And we're going to do it as an inverted V to repeat. So here we go. I'm doing the drop. And we're going with the situation, High Priestess. The obstacle to love. Ooh, Knight of Wands. Okay, reversed. And the what you need to do to get over that. So what is the how to overcome? What is the how to overcome? I'm looking for a complicated word that isn't there. So then, two major cards straight away to go between the High Priestess and the Knight of Wands. What links these two cards? Ooh, the Heartache card. Interesting. Wowza. Right. And from the Knight of Wands to the Strength, Eight of Pentacles. That does make some sense, burning the candle at both ends. And then the Root card, the Two of Cups reversed. Right. My darling Dr. Love, I think you have a broken heart. I think that you absolutely, I'm just going to come into the live chat because, yes, Dr. Love, I think, my darling, that you have, I think you've had a relationship. And I think that not only have you had a relationship, I think you have perhaps had your heart broken because of that relationship. And I will, oh, my light's gone off. Right. Okay. Never mind. I will explain what I mean and how it all relates back to the cards. I'm just going to keep that stable. Right. So this is the situation. We've got the High Priestess. Now, again, we're looking through the Page of Cups, this romantic kind of personality. The two in the tarot deck is the High Priestess, and she is quite an aloof character. She's already popped up today in a different spread, in a different form, but she's really talking about being, I think now your situation is that you are aloof, maybe a little bit cold towards people that you might be interested in because of past relationships and past issues. And it may well be that you are keeping yourself now for your spouse. There's a certain element of chasteness that's going on with this card, but also the High Priestess is the one who likes to do things by the book, very much by the book, and to make sure that, you know, what is right according to the religious scripture that she follows, if that makes sense. So the High Priestess is all about taking on a spiritual element, perhaps, but also going beyond that and actually kind of wanting to make sure, if you like, that everything is done correctly, because if not, it is going to go bad. So we've got the complicated tiling pattern, we've got the Torah here, the scrolls, we've got the book of knowledge, we've got the two pillars here, which are literally, she's also a liminal character because she stands between the black and the white. So you've got these multiple elements going on in this card, in your situation. I think there's a lot for you to unpack in terms of previous relationships and how those are affecting you now, right? What you're still healing from a past relationship, right? Reason I'm saying that, I'll get to here, but the reason I'm saying that is the obstacle is your confidence, right? So we've got the Knight of Wands. If it was this way up, I would be saying the obstacle is the fact that you jump in with both feet, you get into relationships really easily, they become really serious after 2 minutes, but this is reversed, right? So this is that element of the knight who does jump in without thinking and does kind of lead with their heart, lead with their, in this case, confidence, but they lead very quickly into those sort of encounters. However, this is reversed, and this is in the obstacle position here, and it's literally saying that I think you've lost your Riz. Oh my god, that's so cringe. I just said it. I am significantly over 25, and I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say the word Riz, but it does feel like you've lost your Riz. You've lost your chutzpah, your sparkle, your confidence, the bit of you that would go up to somebody in a club or in a coffee shop and say, hey, I think you're really attractive. Do you want my number? And I think that, again, there is a reason for this lack of confidence, which I will come to. Now, how to overcome it is you need to fight off that demon within. And again, I'm not talking demonology. I'm talking about that metaphor. You need to fight off that big, horrible thing that made you scared, that made you back off, that made you not feel open in a relationship. You've got that strength because it is coming up upright. It's just that you've got to find it and be confident you've got the strength to overcome your own lack of confidence here, if that makes sense. Because it's kind of like saying, you know, you don't want to speak to anybody, but the strength card's saying, oh, but you can, and you have. So we just need to get you back to feeling more confident. The interesting cards are coming on this middle level. Wow, the two bottom levels, right? So the Three of Swords is the heartbreak card. In every single deck, it's depicted very differently, but it always means the same thing, right? In this case, it's the sword that's taken the hits, as you can see. So the heart hasn't been killed. It's been wounded, but it's not killed because, again, it's gone through the sword, hasn't come out the bottom. Quite often with depictions of the Three of Swords, you see them piercing the heart in multiple places. In one deck, I've got a heart that's being sewn back up. It always means the same sort of context. Now, in this case, this Three of Swords could be worse. It could be this, right? So what this is saying is, I think the other thing with this High Priestess is this could be someone that you have put on a pedestal in the past. Absolutely raise them to be on that pedestal where you thought they were above you. And then when that relationship went tits up or went sour, then you lost your confidence. The reason I'm saying that is because we've got the heartache coming in. So this is somebody you loved, somebody you, as I say, perhaps worshipped, like a High Priestess. And when that heartbreak happened, it took all of your confidence. And now it feels like the Eight of Pentacles, it feels like there is so much work that you have to do to repair your confidence for you to feel that you are able to meet people and do all of that again. Now, the Eight of Pentacles is all about making the journey to the 9, getting the project finished so you can move on in a happy way. Again, this way round, not a particular happy card. This way round, it's talking about, you know that you need to put this work in, right? You know you need to do this. You know that you do have that strength. You just, at the moment, because everything's knocked you back, it's like no matter how much you try and do, it's not enough, right? It's not enough for you to move forward. And there is a reason for that, my darling. We look at this through this Page of Heart, this youthful, naive, innocent, romantic energy, and we apply it to the reverse Two of Cups. This way round, sunny days. This way round, you can see it's literally at night time. The couple are still there, but the snakes kind of are still there. But this is Aphrodite's fountain here. And when we look from the other side, obviously you can't see it. You can just see mountains and stuff in the background off into the distance. This is talking about love and romance and two people being together, and together almost at the exclusivity of everything else. But this came up reversed. And this came up reversed after the Three of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. So your root, you're at the very heart of this issue, I think, is this relationship from the past. Whatever that was, however that hit, I think it really did knock you for six. Okay, right. I'm just reading on the comments. You're saying it's not a lack, it's a lack of quality people you're encountering. Again, how are you measuring how are you measuring good people and bad people? Is it because you're looking at this previous relationship where they were on a pedestal? Is this that feeling of, you know, you're judging everybody according to the relationship that was? Because that is what this feels like. Okay, it feels like you're waiting for somebody to meet the standards of the first romance that you put on a pedestal, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think if you've been in a relationship and it went sour, then I think that is, you know, that is where you need to heal. And again, it's, look, let me remove this and it becomes a past to future, right? Past, high priestess, somebody put on a pedestal, very learned, very by the book, somebody in authority. We then have a broken heart. So there was a relationship, then we lead to a broken heart. That heartbreak stems from the relationship not being equal and the relationship not being long lasting, right? So that then gives us this feeling of taking a lot, right? It will take a lot to break down your barriers. It will take a lot for you to feel confident again. It will take, you know, this massive journey towards the Nine of Cups, or Nine of Pentacles in this case. It will take that massive long journey, and the only way you can overcome this in the past is by having this strength to see it through, look within, deal with this. Otherwise, romance is not going to happen. Maybe not in 3 years or 3 months or 30 years even, because this needs healing. This needs healing, my darling. And until that's dealt with, it's going to be under the surface. It's going to be sat there. It's going to be itching and niggling. It will be like an ingrown hair, or it will be like, you know, a little splinter, right? A little splinter that's gone under the skin. Every time you move, you knock it. And no matter what you do, you can't quite get it out, because that splinter will always be there until it gets dealt with, right? The thing is, until it's dealt with, that splinter will fester and it will become infected and it will cause other problems. And that little tiny thing that could have got rid of back in the day with maybe, you know, a minor bit of digging and poking from the doctor, now because you haven't got rid of that initial problem, it all, you know, it all goes that way. It all goes tits up. But yeah, you need to get that strength in, if that makes sense. Okay, right. Let me go on to, I've just seen your last comment. Let me go on to the main chat. Let me take down that banner. All that hookups and 50-50 bull crap. I don't know what you mean. Hopefully you don't mean that I'm giving you bull crap, because I'm genuinely not. And genuinely, I find it interesting you haven't commented anywhere on your reading about whether or not you did indeed have a romance that went badly, because it really does. The cards are screaming about that. And again, if that is wrong, it wasn't me. Okay, thank you. I was going to say, does that mean that that's all that people are interested in there? Is that they just want to, oh, you were replying to Melinda. I've just seen the comment Melinda made. Yeah, a lot of guys just want hookups, and a lot of guys will try and lie through their teeth to get you into bed, if that makes sense. You never had a committed relationship. It doesn't have to have been committed. It's one that happened when you were younger, and whether it's your first relationship or it was your first big relationship, it doesn't have to have gone on for many years. It doesn't have to have been a marriage. It's how you felt when that relationship ended, and how that, from what the cards are saying, that crushing, that breaking of your heart is still affecting you. And you might not notice it on a conscious basis, but until you literally go back and unstick it, subconsciously you're going to be looking back at relationships and comparing your new ones to that one, if that makes sense. But anyway, I hope that helps, Dr. Love. I really do. And some guys do suck. Yep. That's true. That is true. But again, a lot of your comments have been I don't think you're hopeless. I think you need to be more open. But what I honestly believe, right? Have a look at what feelings you have from your first big relationship, because until you can get rid of that, you can't let anybody else in, because you're still dealing with that trauma, right? So it's like the ghost of your first relationship. That ghost is stood behind you. So you meet someone, you go, oh, he's quite attractive. Oh, he's giving me the eye. Maybe I should say hello. Oh, hello. Yes, hi. Hi. Is he coming over? Before you can do any of that, you look at people and go, that's not a patch on my first boyfriend. No, not interested, because you're immediately doing that comparison thing. So I do genuinely think you need to deal with that first. Get rid of that. Get that out your system. Get all that heartache and shit out your system. Leave you open to go, oh, hi, and actually to move forward and make those connections, and that will lead to the spouse, if that makes sense. Thank you, Ed. Good evening, Jay. You are very late, but never mind. I would say that we would come and try and come and see you this week, but Uncle Rufus has been a bit poorly with after COVID. You know how his lungs are. Well, all of that, a couple of asthma attacks while he's been asleep this last week. So we're monitoring it very closely, but it should be fine. He's fine now. It's just a bit croaky. But yes. So right, okay. Let me have a look. Yes, I agree. A whole massive amount. Right. I agree a massive amount to Ellis. If you feel that you aren't finding people worth your time, it might be because where you are at this point in time. I do agree. There's a lot of throwaway culture and lack of commitment these days. Do you know what? That hasn't changed. That has always been there. That lack of commitment has always been there. That idea that it's only now and through social media that there is this hookup culture, that has always been there. And you know, look at times where people have gone abroad and had a holiday fling. Look at times in the army when in World War II, look how many, you know, babies in this country were born to American fathers that they never saw because they went overseas, either to war or overseas back to the United States. Think about how many, you know, in all of the old movies, you get depictions of femme fatales who were generally seen as a little bit easy or a little bit, you know, good time girls. And the fact that we have names for people like that from the early whenevers, when things were recorded, just shows you how much there are. And it shows you, you know, look at Marilyn Monroe in Some Like It Hot. Look at where she's the femme fatale and she's going after an older guy for his money, right? All of that is not new. Gold diggers aren't new. People shagging because they're shagging aren't new. People shagging in corners and up alleyways and all of that stuff aren't new. That's been going on forever. It's just that now it's a bit more open and in your face on social media. Again, go and watch Some Like It Hot. If you haven't seen that movie, it's very funny, very of its time. So you've got to give it a bit of a pause for certain language and attitudes, but it still holds up, and you get it from the character's perspective of she's looking for love and everything else. And if he's rich, it's just another thing, another tick. Anyway, all of that, I don't know what got me onto that subject. I really don't. Again, ADHD brain. We've gone on another tangent. Maybe I need one of these. Hang on. Maybe I need one of these. Let's say I've gone on a tangent, like a little quick 6 second, 5 second. Oh, and now we're back on track. That's what I probably need to do, right? Also, I've got a hair up my nose. It's really annoying me, but I don't think it's an actual like hair up my nose. I think it's just like a nose hair. It's really irritating me. Anyway, right, let's go and do the doodahs. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Yep. You can swipe left and swipe right and have somebody at your door. That's always been around as well, though. It was people used to walk their dogging. And in it's always been a thing. It's always been a thing. Okay, bye, Melinda. I hope you're well. See you soon. Speak to you soon. Nanette's here. Good evening, Nanette. Good evening, my darling. I hope you are well. I really, really, really do. And right. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say something, and I have forgotten what it is. I can't remember. Anyway, obviously it wasn't important. But right, it is time. Let's open up another round. That would be a really good thing. By the way, that Q&A little bumper thing that I made was for the members only Q&A over on the Coffee Club. Now, I am changing memberships. Memberships are going to get upgraded to YouTube memberships in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so if you are here and you want to join the membership, please hold off going to buy me a coffee, and you can still support the channel there, but the YouTube memberships with the coffee cup icons and the emojis and all of that, they will be coming very soon on this here channel. Okay, so we're going to be launching that in literally, I think it's 2 weeks time. Yeah, 2 weeks time. So hold off on everything else for right now. If you want to become a member, just hold off for a couple of weeks, unless you're desperate to chuck me some cash, in which case you can still do that over there. Anyway, go on, let's open up another round. We've got a free round open. If you would like a guarantee that your reading is next, you can do so by sending a super chat. That will automatically come through to me, and that will automatically send your message into a separate screen with a special blue background and everything, which means I can actually see the blooming thing. But yes, your questions into the live chat, starting with the word question, or send a super chat if you would like to. And you can do all of that just about now. Oh, I need a slightly longer bumper to give me time to get to the loo and back. Whew, right, okay, everybody, let me have a look. Let's turn that spanner off. Not spanner, banner. Let me have a look. So then, I've got a question in from SB and one from Bartool. Okay, my darling. I will let me have a look. Right, so I think that's the only two questions that came in. Thank you, mods, for helping Batul there. Right, let me have a look. So I'm going into the other screen, because we all know what happens when we get two questions in. God, it's so difficult running for the loo when this room is as bad as this room is currently. We're trying to sort out a lot of things. And because we're trying to sort out a lot of things to sell, to have like a car boot or a garage sale, I guess you'd call it in the States. Because we're sorting everything out, everything currently in here is chaos. Chaos, I tell you. Right then. So if you've been here a little while, certainly in the last couple of weeks, you may well know what I'm about to do. If not, it's time for a talisman toss. Let's toss the talisman this time. Right then, so what does that mean? It's dead simple, right? It is dead simple. When we get more than one, when we get two messages specifically on screen, that is when it is time to toss the talisman. So I've got some talismans in my hand. I'm just going to allow one to drop through. Come on, drop through. There we go. So we've got one. Oh, it's water again. So we've got the same element of this today is obviously a go with the flow type of stream. So I like that. Go with the flow stream. So we've got water. Now, Batul Gardizi, your question came up first, which means yours will get the sigil. So that is the sign for water, the elemental sign. And SB, you will get the back of the talisman, which says which casket, which is where I got it from. And it says water. Okay. So we toss the coin. The talisman, very much like tossing a coin. So it's between Batul's question, which is sigil, and SB's question, which is the writing. Okay, so then let's have a look. We're just going to do as we always do, place it sigil upright and let it flip, and it's gone sigil upright. There you go. Look. So that means that Batul, your question. Oh, that's come on now. That's good. Your question is up first, my darling. So, or your question is up. SB, copy and select your question. Select and copy your question, just in case we've got time to do another freebie reading before the end. We may have, because this is it's only 20 to 9, so we may well have. Right then, let's have a look. So, we're going to cleanse the space, as we always do between readings. And I'm going to bring in the ever lovely Wispy, and we're going to have a look at the cards for you, Batul. So, when will you go to the United States of America? You've already applied for immigration. So when will that happen, if at all? When is Batul guarding flaming cards? This is me, because I'm reading the screen and not looking at what I'm doing or anything. But when will Batul go to the States? And let's have a look, specifically through the immigration route. Let's have a wee look. So I'm going to cut the deck without seeing what it is. There we go. And so then, let me have a look. We'll do the where you are, what you need to know, and what the opportunity is to come. Okay, that's the 3 cards we'll do. So where you are, what you need to know, and what the opportunity is. So where you are, ooh, the Justice card. Interesting. What you need to know, the 5 of Swords, right? And the future opportunity, Temperance, right? Okay, so we've got Justice coming up in the where you are now. So the fact that you filled out forms for immigration, I don't know whether that means that you are. I don't mean whether that means you're going down the asylum route, or whether you're going down the what is it, the other way, where you just basically want to move, and so you are immigrating to the States. I imagine it's that, considering you filled out immigration. Justice is all about the legal system, okay, and the courts, and so this is actually quite telling for where you are right now with the forms filled out. You've got here this element that, you know, the sword and the scales of justice are weighed. You've got the blindfold on the person here, who is judge, jury, and executioner, right? And they've got the blindfold on because truth is blind. That's kind of what all of that means. Now, it does say, just by this card coming up, I do think you have some hurdles to get through right now, okay, if that makes sense, because it doesn't feel, when this card comes up, it means there is something continuingly legal going on, something that is continuing to happen. So it doesn't feel like this is a one and done. You filled out the forms and that's it. I don't know what the processes are. I've never emigrated or migrated or whatever. I've never done that in my life, so I don't know how complex that is. I imagine there's a lot of paperwork, right? And this is what this is talking about. Now, the one thing I will say is that it could be less, which is saying that just there's an injustice here, there's hidden stuff going on, it's not what it's cracked up to be, there's going to be, you know, blah blah blah, things are bad. This feels like it's going to go okay, right? This feels like the legal stuff is going to be going on regardless and is churning away in the background. So I don't think this is a negative at all. I think this is a really positive thing for what you're asking. So I think that the paperwork, all the filings, everything else that you need to be aware of, I think it is all going through the system. It's just that the system is going to take a while. In the what you need to know, we've got the 5 of Swords. Yes, thank you. The 5 of Swords is an interesting card because swords are all about there we go. Swords are all about trouble and strife, obstacles, challenges, that sort of thing. And so this is really saying that there is a lot going on right now, right? So I do think there's a lot going on, but the 5 of Swords specifically is saying that it's like you're stuck in a situation that obviously that isn't your own, and you kind of just need to be at peace and let the system ride, right? It's going to take some time. Just be at peace. This is one of those moments, you know, in something like Game of Thrones where they say, you know, take the kneel or stand and fight, and it's all of that. This is like, look, just take the kneel for now, right? Just take the knee, sorry, for now. Just kneel down, just do what you have to do. Yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, and wait for the system to do its thing, right? It is going to take some time. You are going to get incredibly frustrated. You're going to get mightily pissed off, because that is what the 5 of Swords is about. It's those challenges, that unfinished business, all of that is just going to keep taking its time, right? But in the future opportunity card, we've got Temperance. And Temperance, even this way around, like this is the standard image of Temperance, which is a lot more, I guess, a lot more hopeful, but it's a bit more on the bow. Do you know what I mean? On the button. It's a bit more, this angel is coming here and mixing the waters and giving you the waters of life and the elements and all of this lovely stuff. What Temperance is actually doing is trying to find a solution between 2 opposing liquids. In this case, it's supposed to be like water and oil, and she's trying to get that emulsion effect where you mix the 2 together until it becomes something else. So this is about finding that way forward, finding that middle ground, finding that solution that keeps everybody happy. The thing is, this way round, it's going to take time. So you've got a card here that's talking about justice, and that is going through, so that's a really positive thing. It is going to happen, it just takes time. To a card that's telling us, yep, it's going to be some challenges ahead, and you're going to have to just put your head down, do what they ask, do what they say, go for the meeting, go and fill out this other paperwork. You filled out section 27, you know, paragraph 3 wrong. You need to redo it. And oh, no, actually, you need the IP71 form, whatever the hell it is, right? Just keep jumping through those hurdles because it will be worth it. And this Temperance is saying the same thing. Look, eventually, you'll be at peace. Eventually, before the sun sets, I'm not talking about today, but in like a fairly soon, within the year, I would say, of moving forward, you'll get this moment where you can be at peace, and the lion and the eagle, or whatever this is, a puffin or whatever, they can find that peace, right? And they can live together happily. So this is saying there is a positive outcome to come. Again, it's just going to take you some time to get there, okay? Have confidence right now. I'm going to pull you another card as well, but I'm going to pull from the Crow deck. Now, I don't always pull Oracle cards. Sometimes people ask, and sometimes it just feels that you need one. So then, this feels like you need a oracle card, sorry, right now. So I've got, this is the Urban Crow Oracle deck. It's a lovely deck depicting exactly what it says on the tin: crows in urban situations. If anybody knows me, I love crows. You can see I've got one there. There's 2 crows where we go on a weekly basis. There's 2 crows there that we feed. So before we go home, we will put some sandwiches out on a little table, not a table thing, what's it called, like on a wall. There's like a post with a flat bit that almost looks like a serving, crow-sized serving table. So we lay some sandwiches out there, or some whatever else we've got, and then we get in the car and we roll back a little bit and then stop and we watch the crows come and eat. It's the most wonderful thing. But crows are really intelligent. Okay, if I didn't have my dragons, I would have my crows. So let's have a look. So your Crow Oracle card giving you advice: anticipation. Right. So again, that's literally saying to you, my darling, you just need to be patient, right? Anticipation will come. That will come to fruition, right? It's just that anticipation in itself can be quite a good thing, right? Allow yourself to get excited. Allow yourself, to feel what you're going to do with your new life. Manifest it. When you are living somewhere in the US, what are you going to do? How are you going to manifest this? How are you going to bring this to be? I think you've got to be patient here. And I think here you've got to learn to be okay with that anticipation, my darling. I do think it will still take some time, but honestly, there's nothing here to say it's not happening. It's just going to have to go through the channels, especially in an election year in the States. But yeah, I hope that helps. And look, this is very much like when the car turns up, and when we get back into the car at the end of what we do, and then you can just see the crows watching, and they're like, come on, the tables are empty. Where's our food? Where's our sandwiches? So that also makes me smile, because they do have that anticipation. Crows are so smart. Seriously, super smart. One of the smartest animals out there. They really, really, really are. So yeah, that is saying to me, I think over and above, I think all these cards are saying, my darling, that it will happen, right? It will. You just need to be super, super patient with everything. And there you go. I hope that helps. I really do. I really hope that helps. Let me have a wee look over here. And let's look at the comment section. Oh, Nanette's donated. Hang on a second, Nanette. Did you want a question, Nanette? It's been, Jesus Christ, 11 years. That's a lot. That is a lot. Jesus. That is a lot. A lot. Wow. Wow. Right. So I hope that helps. Nanette, did you have a question, my darling? Was there a question as well, Nanette, or were you just making a donation, my love? Because I am now running completely out of time. So is there a donation? Oh, sorry, is there a question that you wanted answering? Okay. Let me have a look. Okay, thank you, my darling. I will. First of all, I've got to remind you of what I say at the start of every episode. I cannot give you medical advice. Okay, I cannot do that. All I can do is basically advise you to go to a medical doctor, right? Go to a GP. And I know it's difficult to find one, but I think you need to do that at the base level, right? Feeling unwell needs to be tackled on the mundane level before the magical. So please do go and see a doctor. I think in terms of feeling happier, taking some self-care, all of those things, I'll see what the cards suggest for that. But we are going to finish in 8 minutes, so I hope that that's okay, my darling. Right. Let me have a look. So this will be the last reading, everybody. Yeah, so this will be the last reading today. Do that one. So thank you, everybody, for asking questions today. Thank you for your donations on your super chats today, and thank you for being a member and a subscriber and all of those lovely things. So thank you. Right then, Wispy, just before we go, Nanette snuck in there with a donation. So what Nanette would like to know, Wispy, is what does she have to do to feel better? That is what we need to know. What does Nanette have to do to feel better? So we're looking not at the medical side, we're looking at the self-care, self-worth, all of that side. Okay, which, I mean, arguably that's more medical than anything else, because, you know, once you can tackle that and feel confident about yourself, then, you know, for a lot of us, once we've found that inner confidence, then we find that our mental health does improve. Right then, so we're going to do the, what should we do, Wispy? How do you feel better? We'll look at the, okay, we'll look at the opportunity, the challenge, and some potential ways to overcome that challenge. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So Wispy, we're doing in a quick inverted V on the, hang on, what did I say? No, on the, yeah, hang on, I'm looking. We're going to do, Wispy, the situation you're in, the obstacle, and how to overcome. That's what I was trying to say. So the situation, the obstacle, and how you overcome. And we're going to do that as a inverted V. So I did just cut the cards, but I'm doing one more shuff. So because we've changed it significantly from what I was going to do. Right, so there we go. Right, let's have a look. So your situation, oh, temperance, your what is the obstacle? Okay, interesting, with the moon. And what is the potential ways to overcome that? The 8 of Wands, right? Okay, and then we've got the connective tissue between temperance and the moon. Knight of Swords, okay. The connection between the moon and the 8 of Wands, what is going on? The Knight of Pentacles, right? Okay, and the root of it all, ooh, excluded from the world, right? Okay, my darling. So you know me, you know that I will give you the answers that come up, not necessarily the answers that you want. So, right. And again, I'm unfortunately, because of the time, I can't go too late on this one. I need to finish as close to 9 as humanly possible. So in the current situation position, right, we've got temperance. So this is about waiting for the right time, waiting for the right moment, compromise, and making the best of a situation, finding a middle path, finding a path where everybody is happy. So whatever's happening in your life right now, it's like you need to try and find a balance, because the thing about the temperance is that she tries to balance everybody's needs and come up with a solution that means everybody has their needs met. They might not be happy about the decision, but everybody has their needs met. It might not necessarily be what they want, but it's what they need. And it's incredible a card for it to come up right in the current situation, because it's telling me that, again, I don't think you are, I think you're trying to people please, and I don't think you're looking after your own needs here. I don't think that middle ground is working, because I think you need to put your own self higher in that pecking order so that you can raise yourself up from where you are. Does that make sense? It's like, it's fine. Once you're in a really good headspace, then you can support everybody else. But if your headspace is a bit messed up, then it's really difficult for you to be able to support other people, because you haven't got the energy to support yourself, let alone support others, if that makes sense. You know, if you can't support yourself, how are you going to support someone else, says RuPaul, sort of. So we go from the temperance as to the situation, the obstacle. We've got the moon reversed, my darling. So the moon for me is talking about, like, it is talking about spirituality and the lunar path and all of these lovely things, but it's also, oh, hang on, where's the moon on here? It's down there we go. But the moon is also talking, sometimes we can get so stuck in what we do, that we sit around and we howl at the moon and we search for answers within the moon, within that deep space that the moon brings us and that deep tides that the moon brings us. But actually, we also need to just crack on the, you know, the mundane, because again, this is reversed. So I don't know whether you're spending too much time searching for a spiritual connection or too much time, you know, searching for the answers rather than actually trying out some of the methods to get the answers. Does that make sense? Because it kind of feels like you need to put some action in rather than sitting looking at the moon. Does that make sense? Like at some point we have to take personal responsibility for our wellness, and whether that means, in my case, taking my tablets and putting on the patches when I need to would help. Or for you, it might be something very, very different, but we need to put ourselves on that pecking order. And it feels with this moon that it's almost like you're looking outside for answers. The how to overcome, we've got the 8 of Wands. Again, this has come up before tonight. The 8 of Wands this way round is talking about you deciding, right? And this is all on you, my darling. But at some point, this is saying you have to throw the elements of your life up in the air and then decide what you want to take forward, right? So it's almost like, you know, on the TV shows where they have the hoarders and they've got like up to their ceilings in newspapers and God knows what else. It's almost like at some point you need help for someone to come along and go, right, do you really need all of these newspapers from like 3 years ago? They're not historic papers. Keep some of the ones you want, but do you need this other stack of papers? No, right? Okay, let's get rid. Do you need these 2 shopping trolleys and this 1 broken Hoover that's been here since? No, you don't. Right, let's get rid of that. And sometimes you need help for that, but generally and genuinely, you need to do this on your own, right? You need to find that moment where you say, each one of these ones is a different aspect of my life. I want to move forward with these. I don't want to take these forward anymore. And it could be, once you recognize the things you don't want to take forward, it could be that that's when you start healing those things or dropping those things or whatever it may be. Okay. For me, I've talked about it on the channel a lot. For me, it's a food addiction. I struggle with it on a regular basis. I am always trying to put new things in and learn more things about myself and the need for that. This whole stream, I've sat here, I've got a Reese's peanut butter cream egg sat here. I probably won't eat that today. It's there if I need it. I hope that I don't need it, if that makes sense, because it will mean going, oh, I'm going to eat that just for the sake of it. That's the only reason I would eat it. So again, for me, one of my wands that I'm throwing up in the air is my really bad relationship with food, and I'm doing that by having snack food around me and trying to have a healthier relationship, so that if I do want this, it isn't going to completely destroy me. It's not a whole cake. It's not, you know, whatever else. It's just a small egg. Yes, it's more calories than I would want, more sugar than I need, but it's just a small egg. And that kind of feels the same thing. Right then, connecting these together, we've got the Knight of Swords connecting Temperance and the Moon. Again, I think this is talking about, like, you are sometimes your own worst enemy, right? And sometimes you need to find out, how can I put it? Sometimes we all need to take responsibility for what we've got, where we've got ourselves into, right? And sometimes that process is very painful and very difficult, but it's something we have to go through. And this feels like you're almost stuck in that teenage element of, I don't want this, I don't want to do this, but I don't care enough to do my homework to find out how to fix it. Do you know what I mean? And it's almost like this loop that comes in of being happily miserable. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that is the case, but I know that for a lot of people, they get comfortable with the discomfort, and it takes a lot then to leave that situation. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this Knight of Swords. It's like all of the issues and the challenges are coming up, but actually there's no step towards a solution here, which is leading to this moon gazing, sort of navel gazing element. Interesting as well, because connecting the moon to the Eight of Wands is the Knight of Pentacles. And again, I don't know whether this is acting first, thinking later in terms of money or work, or whether the reason that there's this hold up is because of the amount of effort that it takes to make this life step, right? This is a big life step, and nobody should ever for 1 minute think that you are, you know, less than for not wanting to jump to this life step. But I do think it's something that you are going to need to do to move forward, even though it's going to be bloody uncomfortable for you to do that. And the reason I'm saying that is because I've got the root here, which is the world reversed. So instead of it being this happy world, giving you the time to move forward, giving you the elements to, you know, step through that portal into your new world, in this case, we really don't have that option. You can see we've got this Ouroboros snake going on. This way round, it's a wreath. This way round, it's saying that you're stuck in a pattern, my darling. You are absolutely stuck in a pattern. And I think what it's saying is that you really need to find a way to break this circle, because it feels like you keep going round, you get to the end of the game, and then you're right back at the full, you're right back at square one. And what you need to do is you need to find a way to stop this loop repeating. You aren't in the Matrix. You are not a non-playable character. This is real life, and you do have the ability to make those changes. And this card is literally saying, look, you might not feel that you've got the ability to make the change, but you do, because this is your life. You have to choose. Now, when we take that out and we go for a standard past to future, this looks a lot better, right? Because we've got the Temperance card coming in saying that, you know, again, past to future, you need to make some changes. Some changes have been made, but the Knight of Swords comes in and knocks them back every time, creating this loop. So it's like you start to make some changes in your life. Either you get tired, or you get scared, or it creates an emotional detachment. So you take a step backward because the Knight of Swords reacts. So then you start this whole pattern repeating. And then do you spend a lot of money on new hobbies and new things and new everything? Because I know I do. So this is then becoming, you then try and buy yourself out of this unhappiness space by trying to buy everything you can, which then leads to having everything you want around you, all of the things that you bought around you, but then you get stuck with all of that, and then you have to throw it all out the window, metaphorically. Please don't chuck stuff out the window, but you then need to chuck everything up in the air and decide which of those you are taking forward, because you can't take 8 forward or 18 or 30. You have to choose which elements of your life you move forward in a positive way. Okay, so that is what this is saying. You need to have a bit of a mental clear out, perhaps look at whether you replace this this self-care, if you replace it for spending, or you replace it for work, or you replace it for something else. I think this is more likely to be spending because of the Pentacles, because of the way it's come up. So the interesting thing though is you've got a knight versus a knight on both elements. This is potentially where this is you rushing in, reacting rather than responding, because for both of these knights it's kind of like they just rush in and, oh, I can fix the problem by spending. Or just as you start getting calm and things start to feel a bit happier, here comes your knight to self-sabotage. Does that make sense, my darling? Excuse me. I think that this is literally what the cards are saying. Look, find a better way. Find a better way. Take a pause, stop, work out what you need, work out what you want to take forward, work out what your direction is, what feels right for you, and stop repeating that circle. Because if you just keep repeating something, nothing changes until something changes. Does that make sense? Nothing changes if nothing changes is the quote. So that would be my advice, my darling. Try and find a way for you to not repeat this cycle, and that can be done on websites. You know, you can join a website group that will help you overcome whatever, or it will help you move towards something positive. There are groups and things for people with ADHD and executive functioning issues that are really good in helping to give some tools on how you can go about changing things. And again, just make sure you do it when it's right for you to do. But I honestly think, my darling, that sooner rather than later, you need to find a way to reset and properly find out what makes you happy, what makes you sad, apart from spending and self-sabotaging. And with that, my darling, I'm going to say thank you very much for your super chat, but that is going to be it from today, and that is your reading, and I hope that helps, Nanette. I really do. But yeah, thank you very much for your question. And that is it, everybody. That is it. Thank you very much for today's. Let me try and swap the cameras over. Thank you very much for today's session. Thank you for being here today. I've had a lovely evening, actually. Thank you very much. Hang on, what? You understand what I'm saying? You're telling you sometimes you can imagine things that aren't really true. You can do, and exaggerated what's going on. Show that you can avoid people. You can avoid people, and you can avoid things, but not necessarily should you avoid people. Just try and deal with people on the in real life, if that makes sense, rather than necessarily online, because people online are never as true and authentic as they could be in person. But yes, thank you very much for that, Nanette. I hope that helps, my darling. Yeah, I know that Knight of Pentacles was very, very obvious. But listen, instead of doing that, put things in a shopping cart and then don't buy them. No, there are some, look, there's some Facebook groups and things for ADHD with tips, and there's even like YouTube channels with people with ADHD offering tips. And I'm not saying you have ADHD, but what I'm saying is that that financial night, that impulsive night, that is a big thing that ADHD people have, neurospicy people have. And it is one of those things that if you went and looked at a ADHD group online on Facebook, some of the things that you're dealing with, they will already have things, if that makes sense, for you to look at as some self-help. But with that, my darling, I'm going to say thank you very much for your question. Thank you to the moderators. As always, you do a bang-up job, and I couldn't do this without you. You all know that. Don't forget, everybody, memberships on this channel are changing at the end of this month. We're going on to YouTube's memberships at the end of, for the first stream in May, which will be on, I think it's May the 5th, is it? Yes, it is, because May the 4th is Star Wars Day. So we'll all be doing whatever the hell we want on Star Wars Day, which won't be streaming. Maybe I'll stream. Maybe I'll stream. I won't stream. I'm going to be watching all the Star Wars films, even the shit ones. And I'll leave it up to you to decide what the shit ones are. But that is it for me. And as I always say, stay you, stay true, stay authentic. And I will definitely see you next time, which is Tuesday. Bye-bye.